fat kid, definitely. Always picked on kind of thing. Weak, never played sport, always fell ill. In fact, I was deeply asthmatic when I was about 10 years old. I had acute sinusitis, gained a lot of weight after typhoid. Something happened. I stopped to look, and what I saw kind of forced me to take another look. I realized my way to do that is to slay a demon. So I put on my shoes, I get out, and I start running. 100 meters, quite literally, 100 meters, and I have an asthma attack.
Today's Evam SoapBox features True Stories project, and we're focusing on stories of startups and entrepreneurs. So featuring stories of don't startup entrepreneurs heard is today's True Story project at the Evam SoapBox.
Okay, so unlike the rest of the speakers here, I'm not a serial entrepreneur. So firstly, the quad has been around for about 7 years now. And the one thing that we always work on, that we always focus on is how much work can you put in? It's about the effort and not about the results, right? And my story today is going to tell you where all this started and where all this comes from. Now, firstly, I was never fit. Like ever. Like I was a very unhealthy child when I grew up. I was a fat kid, definitely. Always picked on kind of thing. Weak, never played sport, always fell ill. In fact, I was deeply asthmatic when I was about 10 years old. I had acute sinusitis, gained a lot of weight after typhoid, was never able to play any sport. But that's how things were. And I did my school here in Don Bosco. I did my undergrad in India in BITS Pilani, and then I went abroad to get my master's, just the way things go. Then I started working, and life was going on as it is. As it so happened, around 2007, about 10, 11 years ago, plagued with a bunch of family issues, a lot of health issues because I've never taken care of my health. And in addition to being asthmatic, I thought it was cool to smoke. So I started smoking, like a lot of us do. Had career issues. My company was almost going to go down under. And as it always is the case when you're 25, I had relationship issues also. Cherry on the cake, right? So everything was happening at the same time, and things were just not going well. And I was getting into this rut that, you know what I'm talking about, of self-destruction. You're constantly blaming yourself. You're not sure what is happening. You're not motivated. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to eat well. You don't want to take care of yourself. And then these self-destructive habits come in. Daytime drinking, random smoking, not meeting people, right? Really secluding yourself, not opening up, getting more depressed over and over again. And this continued happening for a while. And I remember this day. This was in October 2007. This was when I was in California. I was in my house just by myself. I was walking across the living room, and I just walked across the mirror. And I do that all the time, obviously. There's a mirror there, and I see myself, I walk around. But that day was a very ordinary day, but something happened. I stopped to look, and what I saw kind of forced me to take another look. So I had to take 2 steps back, look at the mirror, and I just saw my reflection there, and I did not like what I saw. It was a very different person. This guy looked different, he felt different. It was not me. And it was very obvious that I was losing myself. And it made me think as to why exactly was this happening to me. And what I realized was, bad things happen to all of us, right? And sometimes it's our fault, sometimes it's not. And that's what's happening. That was what was happening to me. But my response to that was to actually punish myself and make myself suffer more. Do all these negative things, become a negative person, seclude yourself, just wallow in your own sorrow, things like that. Why am I hurting myself when I'm already hurting? So I made a decision to make a change. So I said, I'm going to look at the things that I can control and the things that I cannot control. I'm going to take the things I can control. I'm going to take all this pain and suffering, this angst that I have, and I'm going to try and convert it into something positive. I'm going to try and rebuild myself one way or the other. I don't know how, I don't know what, but I'm going to use this energy and not make it negative energy, but make it positive energy. So as I sat down and thought about it, I realized my way to do that is to slay a demon, right? Is to find a demon and slay a demon. We all have demons, right? For a lot of us, it's like, oh, I can never do that, or that scares me, or this scares me. It could be with work, it could be with relationships, it could be with, fitness, it could be with disease, health, whatever it is. I had to pick a demon, and I picked a demon, and I picked running. Sounds like a small demon, not a big deal. But to me, it was a very big deal, and you'll know why in a minute. I picked running, and I said, I'm gonna fix it. I should be able to run. All my life, I've never been able to run. As a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, I've never been able to run, and it's ridiculous. I'm just going to do this. And the reason I picked running was because I had to do other things to be able to run. I have to not smoke. I got to, do better in so many other ways. So I just picked running, and that night, I said, I'm going to head out for a run. I don't have shoes. I don't have running shoes, obviously. Skechers, which is what I wear always. So I said, fine, I'm going to run about 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers maybe, my shoes can take it. So I put on my shoes, I get out and I start running. 100 meters, quite literally, 100 meters, and I have an asthma attack. I'm not able to breathe. This is October in California, not the coldest of places, but definitely not the warmest of places. It's kind of close to say about, about 5-6 degrees, and it's quite cold for someone with asthma. And I sit down on the curb and I'm not able to breathe, and my lungs just need more air. Only people who've been through it will understand what it means. It is extremely traumatizing, that situation. I'm sitting there and I'm just taken back to the scene. 15 years ago, I'm 10 years old. I've never had an asthma attack till then, but I was fat. I've been called fat all along. So, like most parents did back then, you go to tennis class or karate class or this class or that class. I had to go to karate class. So I figured karate was just moving your hands up and down, right? I mean, it's fine. As long as I'm doing anything in one place, I'm good. But the first thing they asked me to do is to run laps. So I go for that first lap and I start feeling a little uncomfortable. I don't know what's coming because it's never hit me. I do the second lap and I can't breathe anymore. And this is the first time. I'm a 10-year-old kid. I'm sitting there, I can't breathe, I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to react. So I sit there, my eyes, I'm just wailing and I'm crying, and I'm very embarrassed, obviously. All my friends are there, my teachers are there, everything. And I just open my eyes, I'm just looking down on the floor, and I can see it right now actually. I can see feet, 2 feet, shoes and pants. And I look up and it's my dad, right? I really felt like I'd let him down. I felt like I let myself down. And that memory of that has haunted me for years on end. And that's all that was necessary for me to just get up and run again. So I said, you know what? Let's take 10 minutes. Use your inhaler, get your puffs in, right? This is going to go away. We'll do it again. Got up and did it again. 150 meters, something like that. Little more than the last time. Another attack and I sit down. And I'm searching. I'm trying to find, how do I get past this? I'm transported to a few years ago again. And with my friends, they all want to play squash. I know I shouldn't do it. I know I can't do it. But I have to say yes, right? I mean, peer pressure, obviously. So we go in there. I figure, you know what? I'm an adult now. It's my 10-year-old self. It's not me anymore. I can get away with this. So we go there. We go to the gym. We get ready. We get the rackets and the balls, and everyone's excited. We go in there. 60 seconds on the clock, and I cannot breathe. But at the same time, I'm not 10 years old anymore, right? I'm like 20-something. I have too much pride. So I can't admit that, you know what, I have an asthma. I can't sit there and cry. So I had to give myself an excuse, and I'm just walking out of there. But then, it's a big gym. It's a university gym in college, right? And my inhaler, my clothes are in the dressing room. That was the longest walk. I can't run because the more I run, the more I'm going to, suffer. I get the inhaler, I breathe, and I walk out, and it's snowing. And second traumatizing experience, embarrassment, and I'm just not able to take it. But here's the thing. No one remembers any of this. I do. It's not about them, right? It's about me. I'm doing this for me. It's not about someone else. And I get up and I said, you know what? I'm just going to make it back home somehow. I have 250 meters to cover. Yeah. So 500 meters for that first day. I'm sure that Skechers could have taken a little more than that, but all I could was 500. But that didn't end. I mean, we've done a lot of these things. We say, you know what? Today I lost my cool. Tomorrow I'm going to be the calmest person ever, right? So we make these promises which we don't keep. But the next day I said, you know what, I'm going to go for this again. It was still horrible, just a little less horrible. Then the next day, a little less horrible. It took me days and then weeks, and finally after a few months, I ran my first mile. That was an achievement. I just cannot explain how important it is to me. I mean, whatever I do today is in nowhere, comparison to what I was, the way I felt that day. It took me 19 minutes. Most of you will walk faster than that to cover that mile. But then it did take me that long. But that was just the first step. But that's all I needed. I had slayed my demon. And what did it give me? This is very interesting. It didn't give me fat loss, or I didn't suddenly become fit or anything. It gave me confidence. I felt like I was starting to become the person I really was before again, right? I believed I could do something. I knew I just had to do one. If I can do one, I can do 10. If I can do 10, I can do it again, and I can keep doing it again. And that's all I needed. And one more day, little by little, I learned more, I did more, I got more curious. I started learning about fitness, learning about nutrition, and at one point I realized, hang on a second, if something like this can make such a big difference in my life, I'm sure it can make a big difference in a lot of other people's lives. So what can I do about this? And this was unheard of back then, right? I mean, you have a master's, you're working in the medical device industry, you're a research and development engineer, you're in California, all that, and then you want to make a career shift to being a fitness trainer, right? It's not something that was, say, welcome. In fact, a lot of my circles, they said, this stuntman agu poriya. Right? So that's how that's a relation, right? I mean, people don't really get that. But it didn't matter. What I was looking for was something larger. I was not here to just, stretch your muscles and move you around. I was here to make a difference. We wanted to do that. And that's kind of when I met Arvind, who's my partner today. And he was going through a similar journey. This is my part of the story, that's his part of the story, and equally powerful, right? And then we came together, our visions aligned, and we decided we should do something about it, not because it just made a big difference in life, because it has the potential to change so many lives, right? And that's why I started off by saying that we're not a serial entrepreneurs. This is about passion. It is about that one thing that means to us, and we wanted to create a business out of that. And that's exactly what we did with the quad. You know, there's this saying that they say in the US Marines, everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. And that's how it is. We all want big things. We all want great things, right? But we're not ready to actually put in the work. And success is different things for different people. Money is never what we're after. Fitness is what we're always after, right? Making a difference is what we're after. And we're constantly trying to, imbibe a culture of effort, of hard work, right? And it doesn't matter what you do, who you are, what you're trying to do. The results don't matter. The only things that matter are the things that are in your control, right? And the effort that you put in. This one incident, right? And like I told you, I don't have many other incidents. I didn't come up with this because Sunil asked me to. This is the only thing that stands out, and this is why I'm here, right? And this one incident just flashes in my head so many times at so many phases in my life, right? As a coach, as a trainee, as a student, as a dad, as a husband, right? And as an entrepreneur, definitely. We go through so many hardships. We go through so many ups and downs, and they're always going to be the case. Entrepreneurship is not going to be easy. It is not easy at all. You're going to have to work twice as hard to probably maybe make the same amount of money, but that's not the point of it. We're in this because we love to do it, right? And over again, I keep coming back to this one incident that shaped who I am. And that culture that we're building at the quad with our coaches, when we work with coaches working with trainees, when we train the coaches, when we work with our employees, there's only one thing that we keep coming back to. Irrespective of what the situation is, irrespective of what the problem is, there's only one answer, and the answer is hard work. Yeah, thank you.
Money is seldom the reason why people don't start businesses. Fear of money is. Failures will far outnumber successes. Make failure a friend. Become familiar with it, know how to look it in the eye, and find out more about it. People do business with people they like and are familiar with. To most people, you are the business. What makes an entrepreneur special is the bridge of intelligence between the left and the right brain, the bridge between business and art. Don't start up what no one tells you about starting your business. If you know somebody in your life who you believe should start up their own venture or has started up their own venture, if you are that person yourself who's waiting with trepidation saying, I don't know if I should start up on my entrepreneurial journey, this book is for you, because this has been written with every single thought that I wish I had known 15 years back before I started up on my entrepreneurial journey. An EQ manual, so to speak, on helping you through your startup journey. Don't start up. Available on Amazon and all the book sites, and available at a bookstore near you.